Welcome back to Freedom Finance with Lanny, guys. I know it's Sunday. You guys are probably currently watching and or have watched the Super Bowl. So I wanted to come out with a quick video because your boy here, Lanny, did something, guys. I bought a hybrid. Now normally, and obviously, I don't recommend going out to buying any vehicle, but when you have to, and if it works out well, buying yourself a hybrid could actually end up also saving you dollars. So I'm going to go over kind of how I was able to save some money during the course of the negotiations, how much it might save me per year and over a certain period of time. And obviously I'll tell you the dilemma on why I actually had to buy a car, guys. So grab your favorite beverage, your beer, your liquor, your wine, that coffee, get that espresso flowing because you're Italian this weekend, baby. And let's dive into finding out why I bought a hybrid. Let's dig in. All right, guys, if you haven't followed me on Twitter or X, you guys might know that I drove. That's sad already, guys. Dang, pour one out for your boy here, guys, because my 2010 Honda Accord is officially resting in peace right now, guys. I bought a 2010 Honda Accord back in 2013, actually, with about 43,000 miles on it. Just under around $16,500. I think I bought my Honda Accord for back in 2013. Fast forward to 175,000 miles on the car, guys. And it was time to actually formally move on because I was forced to move on. So what actually happened to my 2010 Honda Accord, guys? So it's giving me a lot of lights, a lot of, check engine light, my ABS, my tire pressure management system was all thrown off. Again, anti-lock brakes was all thrown off. So, I took it in August. And I actually put in after negotiating, it was around $3,300, negotiated the work down to $2,000 at a local place that's also a national chain, but negotiated that down to about $2,000 worth of work that they did to my car, and specifically it was on the engine, timing, et cetera, that they worked on my engine on back in August of 2024. So I spent $2,000 worth of work, and I normally wouldn't have done that, but when obviously their team is like, oh yeah, you do this, you'll get plenty of life, you'll breathe, fresh new life into the car, and you should have it for a very long time. And, at the time it was probably around 172 to 173,000 miles at that time when I got the work done. It's a Honda Accord, right? They're supposed to last for 500,000 miles. My goal was always to get to at least over 200, if not 250,000 miles. And again, I bought this in August of 2013, so fast forward, it's already 11 years in my possession, and yes, I racked up about 130,000 miles in that time frame, guys. I used to travel a lot for work, and now my commute's even longer. I travel about 50 miles per day round trip on the commute, so the Honda Accord was definitely taking a beating over the last handful of years. Then in December of 2024, my car just ended up not working, right? It just ended up not starting. Thought it was the battery. Replaced the battery. The battery actually ended up working, right? So my car drives for about a week and then it doesn't start again. Doesn't work again. Find out that, through just reading the OBT, reading the diagnostics, that it's the same work that was done that was causing the issues again to my car. So I took it back to the shop, and this was during year end, and in the industry that I'm in, year end, quarter end, month end, around the New Year's is a very crazy time. January is one of the worst months in our industry. So I was very, very busy, but I was checking in, dropped it off on the 31st of December and was checking in every few days on the status of the car. Well, I was getting the runaround with the shop. I actually ended up going to corporate. Because after 3.5 weeks, they still weren't really looking at my car. They still didn't even get it in to be looked at. Terrible situation. I couldn't believe that any customer, let alone possibly a customer, because of the work that they did, they had to relook at the work. So they ended up moving it to another shop after I got a hold of some important people over at their organization. They moved it to another shop. And, after they took a look at it within that week, this is probably towards the end of January, they said that the engine was done. they said the engine was done, and I had to either replace the engine or I could take it to somewhere else to get, diagnosed. But they said, they had 2 expert mechanics look at it, and they said, yeah, you either have to get a new engine or find a used engine to put in it. And obviously that cost a ton of money, and it doesn't really, it's like putting a new heart in, doesn't really guarantee how long you can get after it, because you still have all old parts attached to a new part. So I was kind of forced to get a car, guys. So again, I drive for work, do not work remote, drive about 50 miles round trip per day. We actually were using only 1 car in the household, but with a newborn, plus, a toddler that's going every day to daycare, it was making things very difficult. Essentially, I was doing, obviously all the driving, again, driving 35, 45 minutes to work each way, plus, my son was at pretty much, daycare / junior preschool all day into the night. And, just wasn't, it wasn't working as well, going down to 1 car, you know what I mean? So it was like, okay, we need a car. So it's time to get the hybrid. So I did end up purchasing, thanks to my boy Bert for picking me up and getting down there to the dealership on a Friday night, the last day of the month, guys. So a little quick tip for everybody: buying a car on the last day of the month, because they're trying to close out the month with another sale. Salesmen might be trying to get one more sale for their quota and trying to get their bonus or commission check, whatever they need. So always see if you can somehow get it towards the end of the month, because they might be extra there might be an extra way to get a better deal on the last day of the month, especially in January, where the auto market here in Northeast Ohio, because of the winter, because of the weather, it's usually a pretty slow month in the auto industry, guys. So just keep a couple of those tips in your back pocket. So got there around 7:15, and of course I had a couple other cars I was interested in looking at, possibly on the 1st of February, the 2nd of February. So always have a couple options in your back pocket to use against the dealer, just so that you can get a little bit more leverage in your negotiation. So I ended up getting the car, guys. I ended up getting a Hyundai Ioniq hybrid. It gets around 55 miles a gallon, guys. So after negotiating, I got the price down 4 to 5%, ended up getting 1 year's worth of, maintenance inspections, tire rotations, oil changes, I got that all thrown in. Within 2 hours of getting there, I drove home with the hybrid, guys. And I spent pretty close to what I bought the Honda Accord for, way less than, spent less than $20,000, luckily. What about the Honda Accord? What am I going to do with it? So I ended up purchasing the Hyundai Ioniq hybrid. It's 55 miles to gallon. So with my Honda Accord, I'm actually working with the company right now to also get a refund of about $700 at least from the work that was done. And then after talking to 4 companies, starting at $300 in scrap value to $425 to $430, I had a company that offered $500, and then after I told them that it had newer tires, a brand new battery, and it was in very good condition outside of just not starting, I was able to negotiate with them a $600 scrap value, at least for the Honda Accord. So let me know if that sounds about right to you guys. So I've got at least about $1,300 in cash coming my way, so keep that in mind. And then I was always a guy, with oil changes, I would always try to get the most efficient way. And yes, I would go to like a Take 5 and spend the 5-10 minutes, but pay around $75 to even $90 to get an oil change done just for sake of time. So I value at least the 1 year's worth of work that I have with the dealership around at least $150, because I'll get at least 2 oil changes, maybe 3. But plus if they're doing the inspection, tire rotations, and all of that, I figure that's worth probably about $150. So in total, about $1,450 in value from add backs and, I guess pure cash if I get the refund, plus if I get the $600 for scrap value, which is supposed to go down tomorrow, Monday. So what about the savings from the miles per gallon? So if I drive 48 weeks out of the year, again, thinking 4 weeks PTO, not considering all the driving I still do on the weekend, because we have no family within 30 to 45 minutes of us. So we're always driving on the weekend. But if we consider just work, 50 miles a day times 5 days a week times 48 weeks out of the year, it's about 12,000 miles. And using the cost per gallon of about $3, in my Honda Accord during the winter it gets bad MPG, and it gets better during the summer, but about 28 miles per gallon. I spent close to $1,300 in gas per year. We're not going to consider the oil changes and normal tires because that's normal. So about $1,300 in gas. Now that I got the Hyundai Ioniq, I'm getting about 55 miles per gallon. That's kind of what it's looking like right now. It's weird. It's got a smaller tank, but when I filled it up at 545 miles to the range, it's kind of nuts. Not used to that at all, and I can get really used to it, that's for sure. The gas cost goes from, again, $1,300 down to about $655. So I'm cutting my gas cost pretty much in half. And say if I get, again, my car only had a little bit over 25,000 miles that I bought. So if I drive 7 years and put on, again, getting it close to over 100,000 miles, in on the car, again, just saying 7 years, if I'm able to save $655 per year, or $630, $650, whatever we want to call it, I'm looking at over $4,000 in savings, close to $4,500 in savings over 7 years on the car. So you take all of that into consideration. So like every day I feel like I'm saving $2 to $3 in gas every single day that I'm driving the car. And it's newer, it feels a lot better, obviously, and I had to get the car, guys. So when I think about the savings over that time period, plus the cash back on the actual Honda Accord, plus the refund that's on the way, and the value from the 1 year, I'm getting back around $5,900 over the course of 7 years, guys, to help offset the cost of the car, which again was, with taxes and fees out the door, was still less than $20,000. Obviously, then I'm depreciating the car, quite a bit every single year. I'm only using 7 years, but the goal is obviously to get at least 10. I mean, I drove my Honda Accord for over 11 years and about 5 months. So I'm hoping I can get 10 years out of the Ioniq Hybrid. I do have, up to 100,000 miles on the battery warranty, so hopefully it lasts that long. So yeah, that's what I wanted to tell you guys. I bought the hybrid, saving money on gas every single day, and hopefully I'll start to see the benefits in the bank account, every single day after the cash outlay to purchase the car, guys. So quick tips, again, I bought it on the last day of the month, literally January 31st. You can use that as leverage because they want to close the deal. I went right before they were closing too, so they were very anxious to get their night over on a Friday night, especially, guys. Always have 2 or 3 cars you want to look at in your back pocket from other places, because you can tell them, hey, you guys can think about my negotiated price, because, hey, you're not forced to buy the car. They want you to buy it, but that's up to you. So I told them that I had a couple extra cars to look at, so they were able to come down in their price because they wanted to, A, to close the deal, B, it was the last day of the month, and C, it was pretty much at closing, past closing time, to be quite honest, guys. So just, again, have those in the back pocket. And then, you find 1 or 2 things that are kind of wrong with the car, kind of what you don't like, and use that against them. There was some sort of weird hissing sound when something was on full blast, which I'll probably never even have anyways. But I mentioned that to them, and I knew right then and there that they were already like, okay, we're going to have to reduce the price slightly. So just, again, a few pointers and tips as you go through the negotiations for those that are buying a car. If you have other tips, guys, leave them in the comments. So that's it. The Honda Accord is out. The Hyundai Ioniq Hybrid is in. Doubling up on miles per gallon, saving close to $2 to $3 a day driving it, at least for right now, as my commute's, again, about 50 miles per day. So let me know what you think about the purchase. Let me know what you think about the hybrids. Have you driven one before? If so, which kind, which type? What's your experience, guys? Again, leave all the tips and guidance for everybody else as well in the comments. And let me know what you think about the trade-off, going from the Honda Accord to a Hyundai Ioniq Hybrid, guys. Again, like the video, subscribe to this channel. Thanks for rocking with me, and I'll catch you on the next one.